Heyo, how is it going? Happy Sunday to everyone. Some interesting updates for all of you today around not necessarily the shooting that happened yesterday, because that I think my opinion was right yesterday and it remains the same today. Bad situation. But if you're going to have a gun on you, don't fight with cops. That's my position yesterday. It's my position today. It sucks that he's dead. Obviously the situation unfolded and everyone's having their hot takes after, having the benefit of super slow motion and zooming, and nobody was in that same situation with the cops. But lawful but awful remains my position on what happened yesterday. Good shoot, bad look. Yeah, I agree. Shooting an unarmed guy in the back, not great. But the officer did not know he was unarmed. It was a communication breakdown that happened kind of in the scrum that really led to what happened yesterday. Totally legal to carry a gun, totally fine. I think it's cringe that there are many conservative talking heads that are pushing total nonsense about, the fact that he had a gun made him there, implied intent. Really pathetic to see Kash Patel say that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm sure that some people are going to disagree with me, and that's okay. But yeah, in the midst of whistles and screeching, yeah, they couldn't hear anything. I think that's just the reality of it. He absolutely was agitating the cops. I don't know what was said. One thing that I'm curious about, the best footage we have is like the woman in pink. Her footage is the best, but the problem is she points the camera down right before the ICE officer like pushes that other woman, and kind of the fight is on. So I don't know what was said or what was done. But I don't think my position is going to change. Lawful but awful. But let's take a look at a couple of stories. I think this one is going to be a segment for this channel, I think. Yeah, I think. All right. What's going on? We've got a pretty big update on what is going on in Minnesota last night. Everybody knows what happened Saturday morning in Minnesota. Just an all-around terrible situation where we had a protester putting himself in harm's way. A very difficult situation for law enforcement, and a lack of communication, and a situation where now someone ended up not being able to go home. Just a bad situation. I don't know how much more can be said about it until we get body cam footage. If there is any body cam footage, right now, we don't know. What I do know is the way that the right is spinning this is cringe, saying, well, he had 2 magazines and this and he's allowed to carry that stuff. He's not a criminal for exercising his Second Amendment right. He's a criminal for fighting with ICE officers. That should be the message, not well, he had 2 magazines. So what? That doesn't matter. He's allowed to have as many magazines on him as he wants. And so I'm not loving the language coming out of DHS right now. And that isn't to say I think that I still think that it was a lawful but awful type of situation. I still think that, it was a clean incident. But last night, so I've got a kind of bevy of updates. The biggest update is the Signal group that it looks like Minnesota's own government officials, including the lieutenant governor, were in, where they were illegally running license plates, coordinating. This Signal group is going to be very, very, very important in terms of investigating going forward, because we're talking about real charges here. I want to start off, though. A leftist yesterday who was fighting with officers bit his finger off. I'm not going to show you because the picture is very clear. He's very clearly missing his finger. They brought it in a little plastic cup to the hospital. They could not reattach it. Again, I guess these people are hungry for justice. I don't know. But, I just can't. Maybe it was a mostly peaceful biting. I don't know. But again, this is in the wake of, what happened yesterday. But let's actually talk about this Signal chat because it is massive. The man who did not survive his fight with cops yesterday was also a member in the anti-ICE resistance Signal group chats. Do you know who's running those chats? Minnesota State Representative Alvin Falconer. He admitted it. He's open about it. Here's the video.
Yesterday we had the young man, 13-year-old, handcuffed by ICE. His father taken away. I arrived there as soon as I could. I talked to some of the family members. It's devastating. Well,
don't have your kids here illegally. It's not the kid's fault, but it's not the police's fault. What are they supposed to do? Just let the kid roam the streets?
I don't know. Just going home and talking to my kids about what happened and how this is affecting our community. These are terrible times. But we will get through it. We'll get stronger for it. And we will look.
Is everyone in here black and Somali? This is who he's talking to?
Out for one another. Before coming to the state legislature, I'm a community organizer at heart, and that's part of what I'm trying to bring to the legislature. I'm helping to lead the community response, rapid response network that we have, given any ICE situations. I have a couple cards here.
I'm responsible for running. He said it right here.
Given any ICE situations. I have a couple cards here. I'm willing to stop in to stay around and talk with anybody that wants any more information. We've got a couple groups on the app Signal that we would love for you to join. Whether or not you want to be a part of the Resistance Network, I fully understand that you may not be comfortable with that.
Okay, so we have a state representative there. We also know that the lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, is an admin of that very same Signal chat. This means the state of Minnesota is in fact behind the protests. It is not organic. It's an insurrection at the very top. I mean, these are insane people, LARPers. By the way, they also illegally captured 5,000 license plates in that same Signal group. Some admins connected directly to Tim Walz, a huge no-no. So inside this Signal group, you can see they put together license plates, plate status, highly suspected ICE, confirmed ICE. Again, not very good. The amount of rot in Minnesota, I think, outside of, the Somali rot, it could be one of the most corrupt states in the union. This is treasonous. This is certainly, again, all the way up to the top. Lieutenant governor, state representatives, organizing these groups that are rioting, that are chasing down ICE vehicles, that are chasing down U.S. citizens who are not ICE vehicles. I mean, making a list. You know who else made lists? You know who else made lists? This is not, I mean, this is going to be very bad. Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. I've infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, attacking, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. Each area of the city has its own special signal group. You'll notice emojis next to people's names. Here's a key for what those emojis mean. So, mobile patrol, stationary patrol, foot patrol, they're listening to dispatch, they're a license plate checker. I mean, this is extraordinarily coordinated. Each occupation or shift position, protesters have to undergo, quote, training. It's unclear what the training entails other than numerous slides of instruction. I've seen it mentioned repeatedly. Who is paying for this? Well, I don't know who's paying for it, but I know who's coordinating it and running it is the actual government in Minnesota. Each chat for a specific part of the city has smaller districts broken up within it called patrol zones, which guide ICE chasers on where they should be and what position they should be in. Here is a screen recording of their plate database, as well as a link to its instructions. So here you have Minnesota ICE plates documentation. I am not a lawyer. It has been called illegal to collect this data. I don't know if that's totally true or not. Certainly if you're, collecting these plates and something bad happens to somebody, you might have a problem. Here's a screenshot of active dispatch call. It's always active, as well as a shift change. You can see folks are changing their emojis, clocking in and out. I also attached below a video of dispatch actually tracking a vehicle. I was in claiming that I was confirmed ICE. They constantly misidentify vehicles. Pay attention to the emojis tagged on the plate checks.
White Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving.
These are all liberal women with nothing else going on in their life. They think they're really out there fighting the resistance, but they're misidentifying cars, and these people are getting attacked, by the way.
We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
Thank you. Do you have anyone in the car with you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
Another
and
woman.
We are getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
That's crazy. This is John 612. That we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
Thank you, John 612.
Hey, this is Lokito. I'm getting some messages from the WhatsApp group that they're driving around on 28, 29.
So there's also a WhatsApp group. You're allowed to have a WhatsApp group. They're allowed to. They're allowed to. But who is coordinating this? Who is organizing this? It goes all the way to the top. Quite literally, all the way to the top.
Pleasant and Pillsbury Avenue. Do you want to swing by there first? I'm making my way down that way as well. I am on Lake and Park.
I'll relay to the Spanish chat, relay to the Uptown Whittier.
Tired.
Thanks, Erin.
That Ford just gray Ford just last.
On the car.
So now that's us, he said.
That's it.
Please go on mute. John 612, please go on mute.
It's going to be a right, the next right.
Lokito, go ahead.
The next right, Chicago.
Yeah, that gray F-150 just drove past me on the opposite way towards Cedar. That was on Lake and Park.
That's us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You could say we've got two commuters behind that F-150.
That's confirmed.
It's funny they call them commuters. I'm not sure, again, exactly what the laws are here, but I don't think you're allowed to just follow somebody around. You're putting them in serious danger. You're putting them in positions where, at minimum, you're literally stalking them. And This is the level of coordination and kind of the high level infiltration that is happening within Minnesota and within these signal groups. Here's recording protesters actively tailing vehicles, which I was in, labeling me as ICE and instructing, quote, commuters to continue to follow. A new group chat for each zone is made every day. The chats are dated and deleted at the end of every day. It's likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. By midday, the group chat hits a maximum capacity of over 1,000 people. The quasi-police force uses a system called Salute, which calls out the size of federal units, activity, locations, uniforms, times, and locations. They instruct their ICE. This is like a foreign military. This is almost, I mean, this is at a military level, coordination. I don't think just a couple of normies are in here. People think that they're safe on Signal, by the way. No. Again, Minnesota State Representative Alvin Falconer is operating this. The Lieutenant Governor is operating this. The man who resisted arrest yesterday and lost his life because of it was a part of this group. Not great. Not looking good for Minnesota government. I would argue that it's time for the Insurrection Act now. Enough is enough. What do you guys think? How is your weekend going, by the way? How's your weekend going? Still very, very, very cold where I live. Absolutely. Yeah, I guarantee you somebody saved the chats for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't know what else to call this. I mean, you have thousands of people coordinating against law enforcement. This is war. I don't know really any other way to put it. Bought home number 2. Congratulations, Retro Futurist. Very cool. Now you're allowed to vote. What's going on? I'd say this is a pretty big bombshell. What do you guys think? Nothing burger or bombshell? I'm in Oklahoma. It's 15 degrees right now, going sledding outside. Nice. How bad? It didn't seem like... I think basically... I hate to say I told you so, but I did call this begin the case last week and before. It's ramping. It's a legit civil war. The masses just refuse to see it. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm comfortable using that language now. I think I am comfortable using that language now. I would argue probably Soros funded. Probably. Bombshell, but nothing will happen. It's possible. Half the country will ignore or not even hear. Well, that's the bigger part of it. That's why, like, independent YouTubers are important. I wanted to grab... Where is this? I wanted to find these press conferences because this is probably not going to be an amazing press conference thing. Yeah, Cash Patel, very bad. Let's see here. Who else had the press release calling shit like military? Already says, yo, I think I sent the right thing on X. Dude claims to have all the signal chats. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I think this stuff's gonna probably go against some hardcore mega people, but you're allowed to carry a gun. Like, this is not the fact that he was carrying a gun does not mean you get to say he had ill intent. It does not mean that, you know, it doesn't really mean any, you know, any of that. Just means that you're exercising your Second Amendment. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's see. Damn, Goblin, maybe dial back a little bit. Don't get so worked up. Anybody in this chat should be marked safe from getting shot by ICE today. All you have to do is not fight with them. Did Timmy get a strongly worded letter? I know. No, I don't know. You know, when I got my conceal and carry license, I took the class even though I didn't have to. In my state, if you had a hunter safety card, you did not need to take the class, but I took the class anyway. And most of the class was simply talking about, you know, understanding that when you're carrying a firearm, you have to be crazy careful. What's up, Ken? You can't. You have like an extra level of responsibility when you're carrying. And by the way, when you're carrying, when you get your conceal and carry license, if you have a CCW, this is one thing very few people talk about or understand. When you have your CCW, you are carrying. Once the commission of a crime begins, you are no longer lawfully carrying. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm pretty sure that's correct. You know, I'm pretty sure that's correct. You know, go home, leave your gun at home. If you're going to go there and you're going to, you know, I don't know. What do I want to call that video? Government. Wait, Minneapolis government caught running secret signal chats. Civil war is here, maybe. How about that? When you have your conceal and carry, I'm going to say, how do I word that tweet? How do I word that tweet? Fun fact for everyone new to the world of legally carrying or CCW license. Yes, you can carry legally with license in Minneapolis. However, that legal coverage disappears the moment you commit a crime. The man shot yesterday was in the commission of a crime and thus not lawfully carrying. Is that is that when you carry, I was taught you have to like really, really de-escalate. You have a huge responsibility to de-escalate when you're carrying a weapon. This is what they taught me in my class. You left out new. Oh, new. Yeah. Thank you. Now I have to space it up. Fun fact for new to the world of legally carrying / CCW. Yeah. I don't know about the protest aspect of it, but I do know that you can't once you're committing a crime, you're no longer lawfully carrying. Just because the left is brand new to the Second Amendment now. I wanted to find where is that? This one. The gun. Proofread, Jeremy. Did I misspell it? The law only matters based on your political affiliation. Well, that's true. You know that much is true. Well, in most states, it's actively like we should check Minnesota. He was legit to carry, not legit to fight cops. Yeah. Somebody in chat should look that up. Here, why should I here? Does CCW cover you at protest in Minnesota? It does allow you to legally possess a firearm while attending a protest. But you must carry your permit and valid ID at all times. Okay, so this state is allowed. But you must also carry your permit, which apparently he wasn't. Yeah. All right, let's look at this here. Doo-be-doo-be-doo. Let's see. Dig deeper. He didn't have any ID as well. Right, yeah. Well, they said he didn't have any ID. So if he didn't have an ID on him, then he's also not lawfully carrying. He's also not lawfully carrying. All right, let's see. I'm wondering what, Jeremy, I don't understand why you would immediately take the side of the left. I understand we should have judgment, but do you really want to give the left? I'm at no point, how am I taking the side of the left? I don't know. Thanks for the Bitcoin. Very cool, using Rumble Wallet. Very cool, thank you. I got this story about Walmart stuff too. Let's see. Yeah, let's put this maybe on the main. I think this one's good for the main. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we'll do this one on the main. What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day whenever you may be watching this. There's a troubling / shocking history around the Alex Peretti incident that happened in Minnesota on Saturday. First and foremost, a little education for the people new to CCWs, your license to carry, for people who don't live in the United States, or for liberals who are brand new to it, or even conservatives who are unaware of the restrictions. Alex Peretti was actively participating in a crime. He was actively obstructing ICE officers. He was in the street obstructing traffic. He was obstructing an arrest of a horrible criminal. And the headlines read that Alex Peretti was lawfully carrying. That is in fact not true. It is true that he does have a license. Okay. The issue is, to be lawfully carrying not only do you have to have obtained a license, you must be carrying your identification, which he wasn't, and you must also be carrying your CCW license, which he wasn't. Just because you have the permit, if you don't have it on you, you are no longer legally carrying. That's fun fact number 1. Fun fact number 2. If you have a CCW and you have a license, okay, you are lawfully carrying at all times, except around, if you're consuming alcohol, obviously, but also the moment you are engaged in the commission of a crime, you are no longer lawfully carrying a weapon. Okay? So if you have your CCW and you walk into a grocery store or a convenience store and you rob them, you are not lawfully carrying that weapon. You are in possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, which is exactly what Alex Peretti was doing. Now, I admit the optics of what happened yesterday are terrible, or on Saturday, okay? Terrible. I wish that guy would have thought differently, would have decided, hey, if I'm going to mess around with cops to try and get Instagram famous getting arrested, maybe I should leave my weapon at home to avoid escalating the situation. When you get your CCW, they teach you this. Now, I don't know what the classes are like in Minneapolis. Where I lived, as long as you had your as long as you have your hunter safety, you don't have to take the class. I took the class to learn the liabilities. The most important thing they teach you during CCWs is when you're carrying, you have an additional responsibility to de-escalate and to, really be careful and know what's going on. If you have a CCW and you're imprinting, you are not carrying legally. There are all sorts of different rules that apply. It's not just, hey, I have my CCW or my concealed carry license and I can just carry wherever I want and do whatever I want. That's not how it works. Now, we can argue about the Second Amendment and this, that, and the other. But, being in the street, blocking traffic, actively trying to impede an arrest means that Alex was unlawfully carrying at that time. I wish that he had made other decisions. I wish that the police didn't have 500 whistles blaring, so maybe they could have heard someone yell that they've disarmed him. I wish that Alex was not alive, was alive, sorry. But this is an F around and find out scenario. I do not believe that this was an unlawful shoot. I believe it is awful, but lawful. And there is a history with this weapon that many are speculating may have led to this. So the particular weapon he was carrying happened to be a SIG P320, which is well known for having negligent fires. Roughly 30-second scuffle ensued as someone at the scene shouted, "Weapon, weapon, weapon." Bystander video showed. It's unclear whether the remark was in reference to Peretti's or the federal agents. Well, I'm sure it was in reference to his because the federal agents were yelling it too. Videos do not clearly show who fired the first shot, but one expert has said he believes Peretti's SIG went off, prompting the agents to open fire. Now, if you watch the video, there's a single shot and then about 9 or 10 more that happen. When you watch the officer walk away with the weapon, it may have even fired while it was in the officer's hands. Like, it's possible. There is no video that I have found that shows the SIG clearly going off, but there are videos that clearly show, looks like you could definitely hear a single shot, then there's a good delay, and then the volley starts. We do know at the time that the police opened fire, he had been disarmed. Again, as awful as it was, the bottom line for me is F around and find out. Okay? Quote, I believe it's highly likely that the first shot was a negligent discharge from the agent in the gray jacket after he removed the SIG from Peretti's holster, While exiting the scene, Rob Dubar, a lawyer from Minnesota's caucus, wrote on X. Dubar's analysis comes as a federal judge has now issued a temporary restraining order banning the Trump administration from destroying or altering evidence. Now, we know that an investigation would tell you if that weapon had been recently fired, right? If it was, this would all make sense, right? In the struggle, the weapon goes off. Officers do what they're trained to do in that situation, right? It has not yet been confirmed whether his weapon fired at all, but there are numerous videos of this weapon just going off all on its own. It's, it's very tough to tell from all the videos, but evidence that had allegedly already been removed from the scene or taken into exclusive federal custody is subject to a temporary injunction, according to the court filing obtained by the Daily Mail. The injunction was issued just hours after Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. If I look up this SIG, right, there is a lot of videos of NDs with this. I think there's some where PD is just, let's see here. I saw basically compilations. Too bad he carried a crappy SIG. It's been known to accidentally discharge for years. And that's why they returned fire, because his weapon goes off and the agents thought he was firing. That is a very reasonable, take. They're infamous for uncommanded discharges. They've been banned from a lot of firing ranges around the country because they're so notorious for uncommanded discharges. Everybody, who knows these people, knows this weapon, knows that it is notorious for negligent discharges. If that happened, it doesn't really change the facts of this case. It just adds more information as to why they may have reacted the way they did. There's nothing but whistling going on in the background. Somebody yells that he's armed. A shot goes off. 100 people out of 100 people, except maybe a female officer, would immediately be returning fire. I mean, that is, 100 out of 100. Even if it's in the officer's hand, here's what I'm not a lawyer, but here's what I think the case they would make. The ND charge, the negligent discharge caused the other officers to fire. They might say, well, but the officer had the guy's weapon, and that, the officer is the one that ND'd. That's true. However, the officer would never have been in possession of that weapon to have an ND if the guy wasn't fighting with ICE officers. So I think you can make a pretty clear, line of delineation there where, again, people keep saying he's a lawful owner, but he, in fact, was not carrying lawfully when he's out in the street blocking traffic. That's a crime. I think the cops should win the case, but they're going to definitely lose in some level of public opinion. What's not helping them is this crap. Okay? Now, this is where I'm going to piss some people off, and I understand it. We can just agree to disagree on this, okay? This is where I just don't like this. Cash Patel says the following.
Thousands of people are marching through Minneapolis. They are targeting the Border Patrol. It feels like the rhetoric and the protesting is only ramping up. What is your advice to the people right now who are outraged that this is a second killing at the hands of Border Patrol in 2 weeks?
In self-defense.
As Christy said, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple.
Incorrect. This is the head of the FBI. This is the FBI, and Cash Patel is 1,000% wrong here. The reason people, I hope, are subscribed to my channel is because I try to be honest even when you know, maybe it goes against kind of the party lines. He absolutely, according to Minneapolis and Minnesota state law, you can. This isn't true in every state. That's why you have to understand. You have to understand the laws of your state. It's your responsibility if you're going to carry. In Minneapolis, you absolutely can carry while you're at protests. He said you can't. That's incorrect. We have everybody coming out there saying this. It's simply not true.
Loaded with multiple magazines.
And this whole multiple magazines thing is nonsense. Most guys that I know that carry will have extra mags on them in their belt clip. He's just 100% wrong about this. Now, if he had said you can't expect, you know, bad things to happen, you know, well, okay, maybe.
To any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't have that right to break the law. And
yes, you do.
Incite violence. We will, of course, always protect your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country in these.
Cash is wrong here. And we have these people, military style, armed, had optics and 30 to 51 rounds. This is, sorry guys, I know this can make some people mad, but this is leftist talk. This is no different than them saying fully semi-automatic. It is fully within your right to have whatever kind of optic you want. He could have had 10,000 rounds if he wanted. I mean, if he could have carried that. Stick to the facts. He was effing around and he found out. That's the facts of the case. Please don't use leftist talking points. Military style, so many magazines. Oh, he was carrying 2 magazines, therefore he was there to do harm. No. Absolutely wrong. And I do not support that. Stick to the facts. He was legally carrying, he was breaking the law, and therefore he was not legally carrying, and he effed around and found out. But do not go down this road. Suppose we'll have to see. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. I do. All right. No, wife was checking in about, she's doing some cleaning and she wanted to make sure before she moved some of my stuff. That's a good wife. All right. Doobie-doobie-doo. Let's see here. Burp. All right. So, what do you guys think? He was not legally carrying, no ID, and confronted law enforcement physically. Well, but that's what he should say. That's what he should say. Not, well, he was carrying, he was fully semi-automatic rounds. You know? That's absolutely not what he was doing. He was, you know, don't be talking about, oh, because he had so many rounds, he was there with ill intent. That's not the case. Yeah, it's another leftist suicide by cop. Sure, I'd agree with that. Andrew, yeah, if you're carrying and commit a crime, then you're an armed criminal. Legal firearm goes out the window. I agree. Yes. Jack says, are you good? You look rough. Oh my God, do I? I don't feel rough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm good. Had a good night's sleep last night. I've got some reaction videos to do too, because we've got some hot takes. I'm holding on this till more facts come out. I think that that's a totally smart thing to do. You know? Totally smart thing. All right. Let's go on this. I got this like, let's talk about this idiot Karen. All right. And then I've got some other ones here. Football's on today. Hey, if you guys want to play, I'm gonna play some Burning Crusades in World of Warcraft. Do I have to create a new character for that? Or can I bring my other characters in? That's my question. We'll have to find out, yeah. Upgrades. Probably depends on the server you choose. Because I have an old character that's sitting in like Booty Bay right now. That's I think in like level 30 or something like that. All right. Well, it looks like the Psycho Karen subgenre of my content is not going away anywhere anytime soon. I've got multiple, including another Karen ramming an ICE vehicle. We have a dumb 63-year-old Karen in Maine who accidentally informed an active criminal that police were in the area because she thought they were ICE, and a whole bunch of other simply embarrassing Karen moments, including one bringing race into it. The whole thing is absolutely hilarious, and I hope you enjoy these ICE Karen dunk videos. Let's look at the first story. A 63-year-old Maine woman accused of obstructing police from an investigation of a serious threat at a school because she thought they were ICE. Retired New York State Police Sergeant Mary Conmee, she's a police sergeant, by the way, blew her air horn and screamed that she didn't want ICE in her neighborhood. During this operation, a woman deliberately drove to the scene and interfered with police activity by repeatedly sounding an air horn, refusing lawful orders to leave, and yelling at expletives at officers. The woman stated she didn't want ICE in her neighborhood. Her actions interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation and created a real risk to investigating officers. Conmee has been now summoned for the following offenses as a result of her conduct: disorderly conduct and obstructing government administration.
This morning, while Brewer police were helping investigate a threat at nearby schools, they say officers encountered a woman who thought they were ICE. Brewer police say 63-year-old Mary Conmee of Orrington deliberately...
Conmee, huh? That works on a couple levels.
...drove to the scene and interfered with police activity. They say Conmee repeatedly sounded an air horn, refused lawful orders to leave, and yelled expletives at officers. Police say she stated she didn't want ICE in her neighborhood, despite reportedly having marked police cruisers and uniformed officers.
They were clearly not ICE.
Officials say her actions interfered with legitimate law enforcement operations and created a real risk to the officers.
Interestingly enough, when we made contact with the person of interest, and we're investigating this further as to does it relate to the Old Town event, this person became aware of our whereabouts because of the sounding and alert of that air horn. So when you have somebody that comes by and has this intention of interfering at all costs, it's detracting us from the safety issues at hand.
Yeah.
It's creating another pocket of distraction. And it's just a bad overall situation.
Yes,
where
I agree.
police say Conmi has been summoned for disorderly conduct and obstructing government administration.
I mean, again, woke Karen left very embarrassed. Very embarrassing details slipped to the Daily Mail after she mistook cops for the school as they tried to obstruct them. I didn't even obstruct. I stayed in my car and blew my horn, she said when called by the Daily Mail. When contacted right after, Conmi addressed a reporter and said she had no comment. Well, she admitted to the crime on accident. Officers first spotted Conmi after they arrived at the residence in Brewer to locate and safely contact a person of interest. Soon they were greeted by her. She deliberately drove to the scene and interfered with police activity by repeatedly sounding her horn. I mean, are you kidding me? They're going to get someone... I think that, all the whistleblowing and all the other nonsense, like, that's leading towards, people losing their lives. Like, it's simply, these people are going to lose their lives over this because these Karens don't know what the hell they're doing. Again, she's an anti-Trumper, no surprise there. Homeland Security spokesperson said, hey, you can't be doing this. The schools have seen about 1/4 of the immigrants not showing up, Ollie said. 25% of the school are illegals? Gadzooks. I mean, are you kidding me? Here we have another Karen. A white woman calling a black ICE agent a race traitor. You cannot make this up. And they just get better and better as we go. They get better and better as we go. I actually I forgot let me get the Karen ramming video here. Ramathorn. Where's Ramathorn here? I had that too. Let's see here. Here it is. Okay, so let's go back to this. Nothing like a white woman telling a black person how to be black. These are my favorite types of Karens. Like, it's not even close. It's just so great.
Be a race traitor?
Are you a race traitor?
See, again.
I think this woman's black, and there's another obese, blobular-shaped woman standing next to her, cheering her on.
Y'all are throwing race into all of this. Nobody's throwing race into it.
You profile people for how they look. You profile people for how they look and how they
street without your mask on and without your shitty little Timu getup, your ass would be stopped by ICE and you fucking know it.
Why? Because he's black? I don't think they're... Well, I guess Somalis. First of all, these white women have no idea of what their modus operandum is. Here's a white woman pointing in a black man's face, calling him a race traitor.
You guys tried to detain your own person. That's probably because you have the reading level of a fucking 8th grader.
Oh, he can't read. Is it because he's black? Is it because he's black?
Dude, come on.
Fucking go anywhere. This idiot isn't gonna learn.
Working for the fucking government? Like, you think that this is gonna save you?
What do you mean save you? He's making $200,000 a year. He's probably doing just fine. But again, everybody out here is white. Brothers and sisters know not to get involved in this. They're not to be out here doing all this nonsense. And we have, again, 3 cameras for every ICE protester.
From everything that's going on in this world?
Whether you work for the government
Yeah, it's a good job, he says.
Good job, and you know it.
Hey, do you know that you have to work
You're
for
a black
ICE?
man who is out there racially profiling other people. That's fucking sick. In fucking Germany that I gotta carry my fucking passport with me?
Mad.
Nobody's pulling this lady over and thinking that she's not a citizen. This is just white liberal saviorness. By the way, nobody was out there protesting ICE when Obama was doing it. By the way, do you know how many people died during the Obama era with ICE? Anybody out there know the number? If you know the number, make sure and leave a comment. I believe the number was 58. 58 people, I believe, did not survive ICE interactions. So far, there's been 2 under Trump, maybe 3 if you consider that other guy. And where were these people then? 58, 56, something like that. Yeah. Where were all these, tortas then? Where are all these out of shape liberal women then?
Are you guys gonna make me wear a fucking star like my ancestors?
Oh, it's like the Holocaust. Oh, she's Jewish, like her ancestors. She doesn't look Jewish to me. I don't know. I guess it is the amount of privilege is absolutely bonkers. It is only matched by, again, he also roasts her. Check this out. This is more of the interaction.
But, you're throwing race into it, right? Let's throw race out of this. That's the whole thing. It's divided. We have yet to say anything about race. Neither.
Then why are ICE apprehending people, brown people?
That's because brown people are the immigrants, are the illegals.
Asking them to show papers
this is a
if they
different
encounter them
I could
out
be-
in the
I could
public.
be straight up
That
from
is
the
straight out of Nazi.
That this chick's like, oh, I could get pulled over. She's living in this weird fantasy. Like, even me, a lily white lady, I could be pulled over.
Straight up.
That is straight out of Nazi Germany.
Look, listen. If there's a lady from if there's somebody or gentleman or whoever's from UK and they look like her, they will get arrested as well.
They have deported dozens of people from the UK, by the way. Dozens of white people, hundreds of white people have been deported.
Well, and they'll get deported. On the sidewalk being peaceful. It's simple. It's straight simple. They can look like me, you, her, him. If you're legal or illegal, you'll get deported.
A European country right
Then
now.
why aren't you doing it to Canadians?
Yeah, literally.
Like, you're not. They are not going up to white people
Yes, they are. Canadians have been deported.
asking for papers. They just aren't.
How do you know?
Because
How do
I've
you
been
know?
watching the news. Everyone that's being approached
Watching the news. Where do you get your news?
is a person of color.
And what's your news? TikTok?
Yeah.
What's your news? TikTok?
Where do you get your news? TikTok. Plenty of white people have been deported. And here we have a woman in Minneapolis slamming her car into the side of an ICE vehicle and immediately finding out. But listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd blame the ICE vehicle. Like literally in real time rewriting history. There's a woman right there slammed into the ICE vehicle.
Hit and run! Hit and run!
Now they're saying hit and run. Well, no, they're pulling forward.
Hit and run! That's a
Okay. No, it isn't.
run! Hit
They're-
and run!
They're not running. They're getting out of their car.
Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her!
No, they didn't. She hit them.
You hit her.
You hit her!
Nope, not what
You
happened.
guys hit her! You guys hit her!
Notice she's driving barefoot. She's driving barefoot. And listen to these idiots say, well, she was just on her way to work. Oh, she drives to work barefoot in the winter?
What's wrong with y'all? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street. Y'all hit her.
By the way, she's still beeping her horn. Obviously, she's an ICE stalker.
Y'all on camera. Leave her alone. She ain't even do shit. She trying to go to work.
She's trying to go to work. She doesn't have shoes on.
No, what? Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart.
She doesn't have
for real.
shoes on.
No heart. No heart.
Oh, wait, she's Asian. She literally might have just been driving. We don't know for sure. By the way, she was the one beeping the car. She was chasing ice, beeping her car. Because notice how when she got pulled out of her car, the beeping stopped? You know, and they're in real time saying, well, you hit her. She definitely was not an ice stalker beeping her horn. It's a pretty nice car, actually. I mean, again, I don't know how else. I have just, my F's to give are out of stock, and I'm not back ordering them. You can't even back order them. These idiot Karens continue to F around and find out. I just don't care at all. Make sure you leave a like on the video, and if you have yet, make sure you subscribe or follow, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, Vitamin, the AmFest cards, I'm working on them now, finally. I didn't get everyone to sign them when I was there, so I'm printing them now, and I'm going to have to mail them around or something. I'm going to have to figure something out, but I'm going to do them. Funkmaster, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. B. Rizzo says, have on Andrew Branca, the lawyer, on your show. He wrote a book on legal self-defense. He can bring some well-needed. I would, but he blocked me on Twitter. I don't know why. Maybe because I was making fun of Nick Rekieta. I don't know. I don't think I ever had any beef with him. And he says, I'm in the Nashville area and went for a run outside while listening to the stream, and it was fucking miserable. But I love the show and your coffee. Hey, thank you, dude. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting. Stop profiling Asians, Jeremy. No. I drive with them. I'm not profiling. Let's see here. The Karen's attack. Got a couple more stories, and then we've got some reactions. Maybe I'll just do... You have to blur out those feet, Jeremy. Your viewers are going to lose control. I know, you're not supposed to give away feet for free. I know that. I know you're not supposed to give... You're not supposed to give feet away for free. You picked on neck there, friends. Yeah, okay, so that was what it is. Hey, I think Nick is clean now. I'm happy for him. At the time, I'm not going to not make fun of a guy who's, you know, got a drawer full of cocaine and is having threesomes with his babysitter or whatever it was. Like, that shit's funny. Of course I'm going to make fun of him. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Well, hey, shout out to Branca for having his friends back. You know what? I'm never going to be mad at him. If that's why he blocked me, then I respect that. Okay. Yeah, I just talked to my graphics guy to get something printed so I can get everyone to sign it. Did you see the vid where the ICE agent was rammed and thrown over the snowbank? I don't think that was an ICE agent, was it? I think it was a regular cop. Right? I think that video was a standard police officer. Am I wrong about that? He was doomed the second he donned the Sonichu medallion. Yeah. Well, it seems like he's got his life together. It didn't ruin his life. I think he's still streaming and stuff, so I'm happy for him. I'm not red-pilled enough yet for coke and cucking. Yeah, I hope I never am, I guess. I hope I never am. Yeah, wasn't he letting some other dude rail his wife, too? I don't even want to bring all that up. I don't want to bring all that up. It was a long time ago, and I think he's since found his way, and so that is a good thing. Okay. I've got this Walmart story that I want to talk to you guys about because it's actually kind of bonkers. Okay. Yeah, okay. Here are all the signal chats. Nice. Oh, 0 hours all over it. Nice. I'll save those. I'll go through them later while I'm at dinner. Drex's Unused Baldo says, Bronca has a habit of blocking people who disagrees with him. I love the guy. But at one point, he even said, if you have under X followers that aren't verified, you get blocked. Oh, okay. Well, he's a lawyer, not a content creator, I guess. You know, so. This is definitely a story that should make your blood boil. And it should be a story that you take time to understand just how badly we've been getting ripped off. This is only part of the kind of things that I cover on this channel. Obviously, I cover a lot of breaking news, but I also do a lot of consumer reports and consumer protection stuff. And Walmart just refuses to stop robbing its customers, it would appear. And I'm going to show you multiple examples of people being forced to pay double or triple what the item should cost. It's absolutely bonkers to me that this isn't a bigger deal and that more people aren't talking about it, because this is crazy. So if we just go back to last fall, okay, Walmart just settled a third lawsuit, the third lawsuit since early 2024 involving pricing and product weighing. It would seem that they continue to not fix this problem. Walmart is settling a consumer protection lawsuit for $5.6 million. This is the background, just so you know. For overcharging customers and selling products such as baked goods, produce, and other prepared items that weighed far less than their labeled amounts. A team of California's district attorney offices filed the civil complaint, alleging that Walmart unlawfully charged customers prices higher than the lowest advertised or posted amounts. The settlement was reached back in August. The lawsuit finally was originally filed back in 2022. But here's the thing. Let's look at a couple of these videos outlining just how bad the problem is. So here is James Rigg doing a little bit of research. So shout out to James. All right. By the way, if you enjoy this coverage, please do, wherever you're seeing this video, make sure you leave a like on it and you subscribe or follow. I know it takes like an extra second, but it's absolutely so helpful, and it's the only way you'll actually find my videos, because they usually end up buried.
All right, back at Walmart again. This is my fourth trip to Walmart. I'm at one of the same ones I was at before. I'm gonna keep it in real time, and we're gonna look.
If you're like me, you just pick up a ham and go, right? You're probably not looking at, hey, how much exactly does this one weigh? How much exactly does that one weigh? No, wait till you see how this works out. It's not just ham.
Look.
So that says total weight 4.94 pounds. That little bit of ham is $25.
I'll tell you right now, that's not 4.94 pounds. See how easy it is? So this is the second time with Kentucky Legend. This is the same Walmart that I found the other Kentucky Legend in for $25. That's how look at this one.
4.93 pounds, that says.
Another one, there's two.
He barely even looked, right? He just barely even looked.
Because I mean, it's that easy. I know that doesn't weigh that. I found two in 20 seconds. Do you think that one weighs 5.4? So that's 3 in 30 seconds. Let's take it to the produce scale and weigh it. Let's see what they weigh. This is crazy.
I've even seen where some people are saying that they started to remove the produce scales, you know, and they think it's because people are checking the weights.
This is insane. All right. First, let's see if the scale's correct. There's a 2-pound weight from Sporting Goods.
Smart. 2.02.
Scales over by 0.02. All right, let's weigh these one by one.
The fact that the scale's over by 0.02 is concerning too. But maybe the weight really is 2.02 and it's not necessarily over. It would depend on probably the manufacturer. I'm not really getting worked up about 0.02, but let's see what these hams weigh.
1.83. It says 4.93.
1.83 versus 4.93. That is more than double. That ham should be $9 to $10, right? It should be $9 to $10 because it's like $4 a pound. It's less than 2 pounds, and it weighs at 5.
What's this one saying? 5.41. 2.32. 4.54.
184.
Come on now. Another one. 4.93. 1.83.
How does this even happen? Like, I would assume if you're Walmart, these things are probably weighed and tagged in an automated fashion. I don't even know, like, it's not like it's even off a little. They are more than charging more than double for those items.
Another one, 5.62, 2.53.
So yeah, it's more than double. It's like, are they showing like the pre-cooked weight or something like that? Are they just slapping any old label on? If that were true, if they were just slapping any old label on, you would think that then there should be some that say they're 2 pounds, but they're really 1 pound. Right?
4.80, 1.71.
It's every one.
5.1, 5.5.
You might think net weight versus gross weight, but they're charging you for the weight. So if they're charging you on the gross weight, but you're only getting the net weight, that'd be like McDonald's where they say it's a quarter pounder, right? You sell a quarter pound cheeseburger, but after they cook it, it's less than a quarter pound. But if that were true, then the pre-existing package would have to say something like 5 pound ham in quotation marks or something like that. Like, is he going to kilos? I mean, here it says on the package, it says LB in pounds, and on the scale, it says LB in pounds. So I mean, the package says pounds, the scale says pounds.
2.41. Somebody do the math on some of these. Put it in the chat. Go ahead. Go to work.
More than double. Here's a store manager says a Kentucky legend themselves marks it for Walmart and doesn't care.
Hey, how you doing? All right. So I was going through to buy a ham, and I picked one of these hams up here, and I looked at it. I was like, whoa, $24.60. And I looked at the poundage, right? So I took it over to your produce scale. It's over double the pounds. And then we just waited over there on the, she waited on the scale. All these hams are over double.
He paid for them.
At $25. And what tipped me off is I came in the other day and got one, but I just put it back. I'm worried about other people.
Now, a good store manager would pull all of the hams, right? You would say, and by the way, it's not just ham. Stick around. I'm going to show you a couple other ones.
Like, how does that happen?
And this, we don't even weigh anything.
Here, so the manufacturer weighs it.
Yeah, even our
but
hamburger and all that.
Is somebody supposed to like put an eye on this to make sure it doesn't go out or what? I mean, I found those in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, Walmart just had a class action lawsuit for $48 million over this stuff, didn't they? Last year?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, no?
You haven't heard anything?
I mean, I stopped after this many. So, I mean, I weighed them on your scale. She weighed them up here. So, like, what do you do at this point?
You said we don't even have a way of reweighing this stuff.
No, you can't reweigh it?
No.
So you might think, okay, it's just this one brand of ham. Well, how about chicken? How about chicken? Oh, they got music on it, so I can't show it, but you can see here, if they're going to pan over it all, the package says it's 5.89 pounds, $18.38. The price per pound is $3.12. Let's just make sure that math is right. It seems right, but let's just see. 3.12 times 5.89, not divided by. 3.12 times 5.89 is 1837.6, so that's the right price. So they're charging him for $5.89, 5.89 pounds. Okay? How much does it really weigh? 4 pounds. That's absolute highway robbery. Think that's just it? How about this?
At Walmart again, I'm telling you, you can go up and down this meat aisle. Just pick anything out. Look through it a little bit, pick anything out. Let's go weigh this one on the scale. They're saying this ham here, what is it? Kentucky Legend ham?
This is the first time he came through.
They're saying this ham right here, this little bitty ham, is 5.34 pounds. Let's take it to the scale. It's a good thing they put these scales in here so we can keep Walmart in check. Let's check this out.
Less than half. Again, it is like wildly not even close. Like, it's the ham, it's the turkey, you know, and the manager is just, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'll just have to cleanse it out.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, we'll donate it to a food bank.
Oh, you donate? Well, that's a good thing, yeah. But
But it won't go to waste.
What procedures do you guys have in place here to make sure this doesn't happen?
Think about basically everybody that bought meat, anybody that, buys prepackaged meat from Walmart is getting charged more than double. More than double. Now, do I blame this individual store manager? No. You know, like, he's not putting the stickers on there, but like literally every one of those hams should be absolutely pulled. Now think back to like Thanksgiving. I wonder, you know, how much was that turkey? How much was that Thanksgiving turkey that millions, tens of millions of Americans bought? Was it really 17 pounds or was it 15 pounds? And they're charging you. It would be fine. Okay, so let me put it this way. It would be fine if the package said 5 pounds, but the ham was 3 pounds and it was $5 a pound and the ham was $15, right? So if it was just a typo on the sticker, fine. But they're charging for the price for the fake weight. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. So make sure you tell your friends, you know, be careful. Be careful because Walmart is absolutely crazy. Like, this is, I mean, again, here, bought 6 packs of fajita, the top 4 for normally priced. The 2 on the bottom were priced the same, but it was marked at almost 5 pounds each. I did not notice that. I wonder why my full cart seemed a little high. I took it to a manager at Walmart and they told me that it was too long ago and nothing could be done. This says 1 pound, right? $13. And then he bought another one that says 5 pounds, $55. And he didn't notice it. $55 for that. Like, holy shamoly. Check your meats. Check your meats because you're probably getting ripped off. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel or follow the channel. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Looks like the Broncos just scored. Not surprised. Not surprised. Not surprised. I do think that they're going to give them all they can handle. I really do. Now let's do some reacts because I have some. Let's see here. Where is this one? I think I had Charlie's. Joe wanted to talk about. Okay. Let me get my editors involved here. All right. All right, I need a new window here. There we go. Mm-hmm. A guy on Twitter took out a $100,000 loan on Patriots Days, pay out a $60K if they win. Dumb. Terrible bet. Well, a lot of these people that play video games for a living have kind of been forced into, by sheer demand from their chat rooms, to have a take on literally everything. I learned pretty early on that if you don't do just a little bit of research, it's probably better to just say, hey, I don't know all the details and move on with your life. But somewhere along the lines, I mean, just look at my early takes on Ukraine and the ghost of Kiev. I think I fell for that. All this kind of stuff. So it's not like everyone's immune. You know, it's like nobody's immune from a bad take. But Moist Critical, one of the largest YouTubers on the platform, continues to give his political takes without doing even the smallest amount of research. So he weighed in on what happened with the ICE incident yesterday. Again, terrible, bad optics, but a classic F around and find out scenario. If you're going to go to a protest and you plan on interfering with the arrest of criminals, maybe leave your sidearm at home, and then you'll probably be able to just go home, right? If you're going to bring your sidearm, then you should know better than tussling with cops. You should know better than escalating. So, of course, I wish that this individual in Minneapolis had decided to make different decisions that day, whether to be not to bring his weapon unlawfully because he did not have his identification, and you are not allowed to be carrying. You know, if you have your CCW, your carry license, you are not a lawful carrier once you start committing crimes. When you walk out into the street and you're obstructing traffic, you're obstructing an arrest, you're committing a crime, and you're no longer lawfully carrying. I think everybody on both sides of the aisle should hopefully agree that they wish it hadn't gone out this way. But this take was a nuclear bad take from Moist Critical. This is why you have to understand when you're going to have takes, what both sides are saying, right? I know what the left is saying. I know what the right is saying. Guess what? I don't fully agree with either one of them. I don't agree with the right saying, well, he was out there with malice because he had 2 magazines on him and that his weapon was military style. I hate that. I disagree with that. With the left saying, well, they straight up took his life. Nope, that's not what happened either. But Moist Critical decided to share his opinion. I thought I would, this is a guy that is very smart, much better at YouTube and content creation than I will ever be. So I would assume he'd have a good take on something nuanced.
This point that they're trying to beat into the empty minds of a lot of people that are trying so hard to justify it is that the only people being arrested and targeted by ICE are rapists and pedophile illegal aliens.
All right. First of all, that's simply not true, but it is a large chunk of them. So what Charlie is doing is he's repeating the leftist talking point that, they're just good people who didn't do nothing wrong, and that's who ICE is going after. Look, while ICE is conducting these searches, if they do happen to round up another illegal, sure, but that's very clearly not who they're targeting. The White House put out a binder of like thousands of these people. The guy in California who everyone's crying over the other day was a human trafficker and had 2 arrests for hitting his wife. Right? This idea of like, they're all good people. It's just nonsense.
Which is just not the case. There definitely have been rapists and pedophiles that have been snatched up in all of this. And those rapists and pedophiles that have been caught and taken away, that's good. They shouldn't be out there breathing the free air. Great. But that's not all that's happening here.
Right. Nobody says that that's the only people they're arresting. That's a straw man. I believe that there are people who are just working at a Mexican restaurant and are here illegally that are getting deported by ICE. I voted for that. The overwhelming majority of America voted for that. That's why President Trump is in office. he ran on deporting the illegals. Now, if Charlie supports illegals because he lives off DoorDash and he needs them to deliver his food, that's fine. But this is another just a kind of, again, just do a little bit of research, my brother.
You could also right now march into the White House and arrest everyone in the White House, and you would get a ton of rapists and pedophiles.
Whoa! Now, I don't necessarily disagree, but for different reasons. Like, I mean, he is so leftoid brained that, I mean, this guy's 20 plus million subscribers, and this is who, I mean, I would hope that his comment section laughs at him for this and makes fun of him.
Why isn't that happening? If the goal is getting rapists and pedophiles off of American soil, thrown in the slammer, taking them away from society.
That's not what we voted for, Charlie. We did not vote for only deporting these two specific criminals. The American people voted to have all illegals deported. That's what they voted for.
Why is it only just walking through the fucking streets of Minnesota trying to do it? You would get significantly more rapists and pedophiles if you took ICE and brought them to the White House.
I mean, would Charlie have said this when Joe Biden was in office? I don't think so. Now, do I think there are creeps in politics? Yes, we agree on that. But he's only saying that because Trump. He's only saying that because Trump. The American people voted for all of these illegals to be deported. They didn't just vote for specifically criminals. These specific criminals are all criminals.
An administration is actively covering up a massive child sex trafficking operation and letting tons of evil people get away with it.
They are, but were they covering it up when Joe Biden was the president? I don't get it. When Joe Biden was in office, did Charlie talk about them covering anything up? I bet you he didn't.
There's tons of clients. So if the goal...
And again, where was this energy under Biden?
Is to get this kind of evil out of this country, why would you not start with what is provably a spot that has so many of them? Also, that...
Is it provable? I mean, he's really dancing on some, it's definitely a false binary. Yeah, 100% a false binary.
Belief of like a secret pedophile ring was a very popular one among Trump voters for the longest.
Yeah, Trump voters still want the files released. There's not a single Trump voter that doesn't want them released. Again, he's making up this false narrative. ICE can operate and they can release the files. I'm a Trump voter. You can go look at my main channel and I have dozens of videos lambasting Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino for not releasing the files. He's making up this imaginary Trump voter that is fine, that supports the ICE raids, but not releasing the files. That person doesn't exist.
This time, and now that it has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be real, legitimate reality,
it hasn't actually been proven.
They are now just ignoring it. They have been proven correct that there was a huge pedophile ring of these powerful.
It wasn't proven, right? I mean, we all know, but words matter. So what he's doing here is the DNC talking points. Like, don't look at the crazy fraud. Don't look at the crazy fraud in Minneapolis. What about Epstein files? And then when they do come out and Trump's not in them, then what is he going to say? Because Trump isn't in them.
Politicians, but because some of their favorite politicians are potentially wrapped up in it, they just want to drop it and forget about it.
Who is that person, Charlie? You name one person you find me the one person, right? He's speaking as if all Trump voters are saying this. I don't. I want the files released. And I've been on record and I'll say it again. If they had any evidence on Trump, I'd want him locked up too. I just don't believe they do because they would have released it in 2016 or they would have released it in 2020 or they would have released it in 2024. But if he's on the list and he had committed crimes, I want him arrested just like everyone else. Of course, he's getting absolutely cooked. What an idiot. Also, no one in MAGA is saying, quote, only criminals. That's just a priority. All illegals are the target of mass deportation efforts. Right, Charlie. I bet you. Do you think there's a video of Charlie having a meltdown about the cost of rent? Well, probably not, because he's a multimillionaire. But like, liberals are complaining about the cost of rent. Well, 30 million illegals are taking up apartments and homes that will drop the cost of property pretty significantly. Moist Critical is an idiot who thinks children should be allowed to take trans hormones. Well, he also thinks that. Keep in mind, this man also believes in trans kids. He's getting absolutely cooked. And this is an apolitical account that's sharing his take. You know, like, the whole thing is, you know, because they're not illegal aliens, so it's not the purview of ICE's mission. Why not both? I mean, nobody's saying, hey, you know, stick to making reaction videos, my boy. You know, I like how before 2024, everyone knew exactly what would happen when when Trump got elected. I mean, was Charlie having a meltdown when ICE was doing the exact same thing under Obama? No. I guarantee you he didn't make a video about ICE during Obama. I bet you he didn't make a video about ICE during Biden either. I mean, the whole thing is just, dude, you gotta do a little bit of research. He's creating this fake Trump voter who says, well, I suddenly don't want the Jeffrey files released because I think Trump's not. That person doesn't exist. It is absolutely a bad take. But, you know, when you give your take for a living, you're going to have some stinkers. And this one is a legendary stinker for him. I just don't understand. Do you ever want your email? I'll send you a picture of my massive dump. Nah, I'm good on that. Charlie takes, look, I mean, you have to at least understand the whole kind of picture before you're going to try to have a hot take on something. This, I don't think, is a great example of that. I do think this is a great example of that. I think he doesn't know anything about it. Either that or he's simply just being intellectually dishonest, you know, which is very possible. You know, it's entirely possible. I wanted to see. I thought I had Asmongold's take to react to too, but maybe not. I have other videos I wanted to look at. No point in reacting to a 31-second video. 13 seconds. So people are only clipping a tiny bit out. Here at 2 minutes. Okay. All right. Oops. Let's see. How's the foosball game going? My house doesn't smell that good. Oh no, it definitely does. My wife takes care of the house, and I have a cleaning lady. It's like, it absolutely positively does smell good. Let's see here. Close that. I think if it's a close game, Broncos could win. Let's see. Looks like they just punted. Drake May took a bad sack. That means the Patriots are gonna punt again. The defense is probably gonna save the Broncos, but then we're gonna get the Broncos in the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Not really ideal. Not super ideal. What color is your cleaning lady? White. White is the driven snow. All right. Let's see here. He lost me forever kneeling for the national anthem. Who is that? Drake May? I don't think he did. He wasn't even around then. All right, well, every major content creator, from Moist Critical to Hassan Piker to the world's largest political streamer, Asmongold, have now weighed in on the incident that took place in Minneapolis on Saturday morning and then ignited the city and state and really country into widespread unrest over the weekend and probably into this week. And I've been going through them and seeing what everybody's take was. So far, I've looked at Moist Critical. I don't know if that, if you will have seen that by now or not. His take was brain dead. We know Hassan Piker's take is brain dead. So my hope is that Asmongold, the world's most popular political streamer, has a nuanced take. Look, I've been on the record. I've given my take. I wish that that young man in Minneapolis had made 100 different decisions that day, the same way I wish that Renee Good had made 100 different decisions that day. All Renee Good had to do, even though she had made numerous bad decisions that day, was get out of her car and not listen to her girlfriend who told her to drive, baby, drive, and she would be alive today. The same is true, whether you like it or not, of the incident with ICE on Saturday. A man decided to not just go to the protest, but to actively impede ICE investigations and ICE operations. He was actively interfering as they were arresting a violent criminal, not some torta who works in a food truck like the left wants you to believe. Okay? Yes, he was effing around and he found out. Absolute tragedy. A lawful but awful shoot, in my opinion. The internet has had, the benefit of super slow-mo and seeing everything and hearing everything. These officers had to react in real time. The man was armed. There seems to be, we're still waiting for more information, around discharged, maybe negligently from the SIG, either when the officer took it off the man or by the man. I think it was when the officer was taking it off the man, and officers did what they're trained to do. It's not great, but these officers did nothing illegal. So let's hear what Asmon has to say about this. Haven't seen his take yet, so let's see. I'm hoping, I'm assuming that it's relatively based.
Woman with the car, that Renee Good, I think that it was much more ambiguous. I think that it's very obvious that.
Oh no, I disagree. Once they released the body cam footage and it was clear that she struck the ICE agent, it was 100% not ambiguous at all. She tried to run him over, intentional or not. We can debate whether or not she panicked. I think she probably did. But there's no debate with Renee Good. She 100% ran into that officer with her car and deserved the actions that happened after. As I've said before, I'm not cold-hearted. I'm not celebrating it. I don't think it's funny. I wish she had made other decisions that day, but it was a clear-cut case of using a vehicle as a weapon. And what happened to her was of her own doing.
That if you're shooting an unarmed man whenever they're being restrained by 6 other people or 7 other people, very, very clearly your life was not in danger. You're not defending yourself from a deadly threat. This person's unarmed, and that's it.
The ICE officers did not know he was unarmed. They know he was armed. The ICE officers knew he was armed. They did not know that he was disarmed. Again, messy situation. Everyone agrees. We can see the officer, one of the officers, remove the guy's weapon, but at no point do you hear audibly him shouting, "I've got it, I've disarmed him." Also, we have no way of knowing if he doesn't have other weapons on him. Again, terrible situation, but I do disagree with framing it as firing on an unarmed man. It's not like they stopped and saw that he was disarmed and he was just standing there. He was still actively struggling with officers. It was announced out loud. They yelled, that he had a weapon over and over and over again. And then a shot was fired. Okay. We don't know which weapon that's from yet. And if there's body cam footage, I think it will clear it up. This is not, this isn't as horrible as the most critical take, but I do think it's unfair to, Monday morning quarterback and say, well, they just took out an unarmed man. That's not what, but again, I agree with 95% of Asvin's takes. So I'm not trying to dunk on him here.
There's literally no excuse for it. And
I just gave you the reason for it.
I'm a big supporter of ICE. I think ICE is great. I think they should deport every single illegal alien in the country.
I agree.
All that being said, you can't have ICE because I'm a supporter of ICE. That means that I need to have accountability for ICE.
I would ask what that looks like then. So if what Asvin is implying here, if I'm wrong, I'm sure he might react and clarify or respond, but he's saying that ICE officer murdered that guy and that he was unarmed. Again, I would ask in the court of law, maybe he goes to trial. What the jury's going to have to ask is, did he act reasonably in that split second? In that split second, did that officer act reasonably? And I think the answer is yes. Now, I just disagree with him here. That's okay. I think most of his takes are good. But I definitely disagree that they just took out an unarmed man. That's not what happened. And I think that's the wrong way of classifying. It's a terrible incident, a terrible accident. Maybe even you could even say that. But what we do know is if this guy hadn't been out in the street, actively breaking the law, interfering with law enforcement, he would still be alive today. That is the take. That is the take.
And let me explain what I mean by that. If you have a police department that's not accountable or a law enforcement agency that's not accountable, that basically is the Gestapo.
First of all, I agree. Now he's calling ICE the Gestapo. I think that is not what they are. I think ICE absolutely positively does have accountability. We just disagree that accountability is required here. If that guy had not decided to get involved in an active arrest, he would still be alive today. I could even agree with you that he never even pulled his weapon. We see him reach for his weapon. That's what it looks like. It looks like he reached for it, but it had already been taken off of him and he ends up grabbing a magazine or something like that. But if we're going on the theory that the P320 misfired, it was just all a terrible situation. Sometimes bad things happen, and I just don't think that we have to blame somebody every time. I know that's what, the world did with George Floyd, right? George Floyd overdosed, okay? He overdosed on drugs. It was a terrible situation. The cops, handled that situation poorly, but nobody needed to go to prison for that. But because we're all conditioned in the way that somebody has to pay, then Derek Chauvin is sitting in a prison. He's been, stabbed in prison how many times now? Sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes car accidents happen and it's nobody's fault. But the insurance company will always assign fault.
That is the secret police. That is the SS. What Gestapo was, right, is you had no recourse. They had no accountability. There was nothing that happened to them if they did something wrong.
Sure, fine.
They could kill you for whatever reason they wanted.
Okay.
And you have to have laws that make police accountable, because that's the other big component. Anyone with a concealed carry knows you should always comply with police and now
Correct.
your weapon and de-escalate all potentially dangerous situations.
Yes, correct.
At least in my state, the guy intentionally gets in the way and involved in an escalating situation.
Yes. Whoever that chatter is, that's the correct take.
Absolutely retarded behavior from a concealed carrier. I think you're
100% right.
You're totally right.
Okay.
I do. I think you're
Based.
completely right. I think this is absolutely fucking retarded to do. And at the end of the day, if he had complied with the police, if he didn't have the gun with him, like, there is a much higher probability that he wouldn't have been shot.
There is a 100% probability he wouldn't have been. But again, I would not frame this as having zero accountability, because there is nothing here to be accountable for.
There is. Like, it's undeniable this is the case. And I feel like that nuance is constantly lost, because you can easily come to the conclusion that maybe the way that they shot him was wrong. And based off of everything that I've seen, I'm pretty certain that they fucked up. I am. This seems pretty cut and dried that they...
I can see why people would say that, but I disagree. I think the police acted in accordance with their training, and you still had kind of an unfortunate outcome. The idea that ICE is acting without any accountability is absurd. The Minnesota government, they have thousands of people following them around, harassing them, watching their every move. They are absolutely not acting with impunity. I can see how somebody would think that they messed up here, but I don't think according to the law that they did. I don't think that they did according to the law. It sucks. I wish that this guy had not brought his weapon that day, even though he's legally allowed to. I wish that he would not have gotten involved with the cops, but there's nothing to be accountable here for. Nothing.
Fucked up. Now, I'm not, we need to wait for the body cam, and that way we'll really know. But right now, it sure seems like they fucked up.
I disagree. I think it's like a 60-40 thing, though. I don't think there's anything to be accountable for. But if let's say the body cam footage comes out and, these other officers knew he was disarmed, of course, then they definitely did. Right? I think when you carry around law enforcement, they teach you have a responsibility to be extra careful. Okay? There is the letter of the law. There's the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. Yes, in a vacuum, you should be able to carry anywhere you want and also tussle with police. But in reality, if you are tussling with police and that weapon falls out, you are now a lethal target. There is no reason for them to believe that you don't have another weapon, right? I wish unicorns were real too, but they're not. And this is another situation where in the real world, things get messy. And I disagree that there's anything to be accountable for. We agree on almost everything in his take, though. But they're not the Gestapo, and they're not, I don't think they're acting with impunity. I think if this guy had followed the law, he'd still be alive today, and that is what people should be remembering. I just don't. I don't buy it. I don't buy that we should be saying that there was a mistake made. The only person that made a mistake that day was the officers the guy who brought the gun. He's 110% welcome to have that gun, to carry that gun. But what he can't do is then go tussle with police. That's the long and short of it. It's about to be 10-0 Broncos. I wonder if they go for it on fourth down. I wonder if they go for it on fourth down. They probably should try to get up 14. Let's see here. What else do we got? I got other stuff I wanted to do. How's everybody's weekend going? I always like to do these Sunday hangout streams, you know, because they're fun. And it's a chance for me to get a little ahead and do some React videos. It's a chance for me to, just talk to you guys a little bit more. Smaller crowd, but I'm glad you're here. All right, let's see here. Or did the Broncos go for it on 4th down and not get it? I've got dinner with the grandparents today yet. This weekend was not relaxing. It was a total... I worked... I had people over at the house. It was a long weekend. What's your character in class? Oh, you're not talking to me. Okay. Doobie-doobie-doo. Oh, drop the interception, New England ball. They should have kicked the field goal. You got to kick the field goal there. You got to take the points. That's not a smart call. You got to kick that. Go up 10-0 at home. Yeah, that's going to let New England, even if, like, you take the field goal, even if New England scores, it's 10-7, you know? Hey, quick favor. Hey, Ruby Doobs. I know it's Sunday, and it's not the normal crew. Hey, I want the Broncos to win, too. I don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They got too good too fast. But you gotta take that 3 when you don't have your starting quarterback. I'm hoping if you appreciate the extra Sunday stream, this is what you get, and what supports that is one of two things: either becoming a member, like joining Rumble Premium with my link in the description, or becoming like a YouTube member, or the best way to support is becoming a Rumble Premium user using my link. Ruby, stop harassing him. So there's a link in the description, rumble.com/premium or /recording/premium. And you can get no ads on Rumble, access to all sorts of premium content, stuff like that. But if you don't want to do that, you could just go to thequartering.com and click that Join Now button on the top. And it would be absolutely positively amazing if a few of you would join today. Really, really hoping I can get 5 or 10 of you to join today. It adds up. It helps support, Melanie Mack and Hannah Claire Brimlow and Luke, myself, my editors, and for $5 a month, it really, really adds up. If you're not in a position to, or you can't, or you don't want to, I'm glad you're here anyway. I really am. But I'm hoping that a bunch of you will take the plunge, go to thequartering.com and join up, or join Rumble Premium. Both support me equally. If you join Rumble Premium, you get, no ads on Rumble too. Becoming a member is no more than the cost of one beer. Yeah, buy me a beer buy me one beer a month. Quartercast feed calendar. Well, the only way you're getting that is if it's all my feet. Let's see here. Where is this? What video is this? I have a couple more to laugh at here. What is this totally brain dead one? Oh. Did you do this one? Oh yeah, that's this one. Okay. Do you know how much carny bucks that costs? I don't know what's a carny buck. All right, let's get into this next video here. God, Denver has to take that field goal there. Denver has to take that field goal there, but but Patriots immediately went 3 and out. Basically, they got the ball right back. Okay. Let's see here. All right. One of my favorite things to do on my personal channel, my personal private streams on the Jeremy Hambley channel. By the way, if you're not subscribed, if you just happen to see this and you don't know it's a different channel, please make sure to follow or subscribe. It's available on all platforms where I put out my videos. The kind of the brain dead, like dairy-free, soy LARPing ice Karens, which are overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly privileged, middle to upper middle class. Like, these are my favorite videos on the internet because they are so brain dead. It is just, it's wild. And we've got one here for you that it's hard to describe without just, the fantasy, without going into the fantasy world that this lib is living in. Let's take a look what she has to say.
Okay, I need a vibe check from...
Vibe check. She's too old to be asking for a vibe check. Let's start there.
All the other folks that are on the right side of history.
Oh, okay. So she's on the right side of history. Great. So we got it. 6 seconds into the video, she's worried about vibes, and she also knows that she's on the right side of history.
So it feels a little bit like Donald Trump has on a...
It feels. They're all about vibes and feels. They're never interested in truth and justice. It's vibe and feels. This is another classic girl that was probably hot in high school, and now she has a classic cake face, and she hates her husband, and she wears yoga pants to the store and then gets mad at when people look at her Midwestern pancake ass, and and then records them and talks about how offended she is. That's what she does during her days now.
Officially declared civil war against Minneapolis, of all places.
You declared civil war against Minneapolis. I don't think only Tim Pool can declare civil war. This is like, maybe my editor will catch this. This is like when Michael Scott declared bankruptcy. And he's just like, I declare bankruptcy!
By sending in, 2,000 to 3,000 ICE agents. But if he goes ahead and sends in those extra 1,500 paramilitary folks, which I don't even know what that is,
You don't know what paramilitary are? First of all, I don't think they're paramilitary. I think he was referring to paratroopers or some sort of... paramilitary is like a non-military entity that acts as a military. If I'm like a mercenary. So either she's lying or I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
Helicopters, or I don't know.
Oh, helicopters.
But if he does that feels like an official declaration of war. And this is my first civil war. And
she says this from the safety of her 4,000 square foot home in a gated community.
As an elder millennial with a little bit of the tism, I need to plan ahead.
Oh, she's got the tism. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay.
Need to understand. Listen, I'm a prepper and
No,
I
you're
have
not.
everything I need to survive, but I need to understand what to expect.
I
need
guarantee
to make
she's not a
plan.
prepper.
I need to understand, like, for example,
Going on a Costco run is not being a prepper.
is there a syllabus or like a sign up genius or a Facebook page that we're supposed to be referencing, or are we just fully winging it here? Dress code. And this is coming from like a leggings girl.
Oh, I knew she was a leggings girl. Boys in the chat, give me a like. Boys in the chat. Right? How did I know? I also like that thinks she's being real slick. She thinks she's being real slick, like, I'm just so over it. Like, this is, like, I'm going to need a vibe check. Like, is this y'all's first Civil War? Because, like, what are the vibes with that? Like, what are even going on with that? Like, totally, like, you know, like what, you know what I'm saying, y'all? Vibes.
Are we doing like red coat, blue coat, or is this going to be more like business casual? You know, or like a conference, are we going to wear like lanyards and we can like put our favorite things or like what our interests are on it? Just trying to figure out how we designate ourselves from the bad guys.
If I get a look at her hands, I guarantee you her nails are manicured.
Provisions. Is it going to be?
Oh, they're not. They're not. But she is holding a pen to point, to really drive her point home. Okay.
BYOB? Do we need to bring snacks? Will they be provided? Also along those same lines, is it going to be nut and dairy free? What's the parking?
Well, you got to make sure it's got to be nut and dairy free for the vegans, right? Right?
Situation. Also critical to understand.
Oh, you just know this chick's a total bitch. You just know that her husband only gets laid on his birthday and she makes sure he knows that she's doing him a favor. You just know she uses sex as a weapon. You just know it. You can look at her glasses and know that she uses sex as a weapon. 100%.
Is there a draft, or are we just like playing Red Rover, send Jackie right over? Like, how does that work? What are our approved hashtags for being the blue coats, right? Like we need to get on that so that we can like secretly communicate with each other through hashtags. Is the Civil War covered?
Does she know hashtags don't work anymore? Anyway.
Covered under my current insurance plan, and will it make premiums go up? That's important.
By the way, you can also tell she's clearly written a list. And the pencil that she wrote this list down when she thought she was going to be so funny. She thought she was going to be so funny. She's like, you know, I would bet you $100 she's a nurse. Anybody takers on that? I bet you $100 this chick's a nurse. She wrote this list down that she's clearly reading from, and she's still using her pink mechanical pencil that she wrote the list with. And when she was like, oh, this is going to be so funny. Now, if she's trolling, genius level troll. I understand why people think she might be trolling because it's so crazy. But the issue here is that the crazy has now become the real. Okay? I don't think she's trolling. This chick's a nurse or a teacher. I almost guarantee it.
Does PTO cover Civil War? Or is that like a sick day? Or do we turn that into a company holiday? And listen, most importantly, I think what I need to understand is I can't juggle all of this on top of work and on top of raising kids. So I need to make sure that will Amazon Prime still be up and running? I think this would help all of us feel a little bit more calm. We hope it doesn't happen, of course. But as someone like me who just really needs to understand what the game plan is here, because the other side seems to have a game plan. And we feel...
See, this is how you know. This is how you know it's not a troll. She has said that she is a liberal. She is she is referred to herself as being on the right side of history, and now she's saying the other side has a plan. She's referring to conservatives as being on the wrong side of history, and she's got to make I guarantee you she spent all day writing these lists in between taking her SSRIs and having her boxed wine, and she really thought she did something here.
I feel like we might be lacking a game plan. Like, we could at least start with a Facebook page. Something, all right? Let me know. What are we doing?
Again, people say this has to be satire. Paramilitary folks, I don't even know what that is. Like, from helicopters, I don't know. Repeal the 19th. The game plan is to stop and go back to the first step. Once you realize you took a wrong turn at the beginning. I mean, her examples show the overwhelming amount of privilege she enjoys. I think, people want to think she's hopefully mocking the far left, but I actually don't think so. People want to hope she's trolling, but I'm telling you, if you think that she's trolling the far left, then I would ask you to look at the many examples of privileged white women that I have dunked on this channel who are absolutely dead serious. And saying that civil war is here and that they're out on the streets with their whistles chasing down and ramming ICE agents. How can you look at all of the examples that I have shown of delusional leftists and think that this one is just trolling? She's not trolling. This is literally some wine mom who thinks she thought up something funny. She thinks she's really doing something here. Either that or it's extremely low quality satire. But let me know what you think. I think satire imitates reality these days, and I'm not giving anyone the benefit of the doubt. I think absolutely brain dead. Absolutely brain dead. Now I've got this other story too. Let's see. Do feeling groovy. I think people are looking at her thinking that she's kind of pretty and hoping that she's not that retarded, but she is. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to inform you, she is that stupid. She is that stupid. Do. You can hit it, but you can't fix it. That's true. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. New England touchdown. Well, they probably should have taken that field goal. Oh, Denver fumbled. Oh, brutal. Yep. Stidham sacked, fumbled. They took over at the 12-yard line. Brutal. How's your guys' weekend going? I'm going right in. I'm going right into Monday, no days off. In fact, how long have I been streaming today already doing news? Over 2 hours. I would have liked to play World of Warcraft. Does anybody want to play World of Warcraft? I'm going to do the Burning Crusades, I think. Nationwide Brain Strike. Let's see. Over on Rumble. J-Law, Bronco. Read $1. I read it. HR department. Yeah. Drex's Unused Baldo says, I almost caught a block even for pointing out. Oh, I got that. A lot of his followers aren't Rabbit X users, came to him from Ricada. Hell, my username is from Ricada's old lore. Yeah. Crash Bandit says, Jeremy, you've seen the OMG stuff on people tracking ice using cells of people in zones. Yes, I covered that earlier today. Drex says, if you offer to let him promote his free book program and talk about all this shit, he might take it. Poor guy got struck debating Destiny with good logic a while back. Yikes. McLeod says, Charlie hates ice due to him having trouble getting foreign teammates' papers approved. Oh, yeah, that is a thing, too. Yeah, that's true. That is a thing. TDS eats people's brains. Big true. So I've got some time left. I just wanted to bank up some reacts, and I still have to do shorts too. Maybe I'll do shorts tomorrow because I'm kind of burnt out. And I can't really do shorts on stream. Let's see this. Yeah. Maybe we could do shorts. I don't know. I think I saved some, but I might have to pack them up for tomorrow. I like doing like TBC is still pre-patch, I think. It's not fully out yet. Oh, okay. Will I have to create a new character to play the Burning Crusades, or do I have to or can I bring my other character over from like classic? Let's see here. Let's do this one too. I've long talked about it, and the chickens are kind of finally coming home to roost. And what I talked about is during the kind of the craze, the trans craze, where it was a social contagion and every emo kid in high school, their parents were taking them to get double mastectomies. I said that there will be a reckoning with this, and there is and has been. And we've started to see a lot of detransitioning people that come out and say, hey, I got fooled. We knew this was happening. And the SJWs, the far left, they said it wasn't happening. They said no parents were taking their kids to, their healthy kids for double mastectomies. All these stuff. It's just heartbreaking. And these people's voices need to be heard. It proves all of us right that, sure, there are people who have gender dysphoria. It's like 0.001% of the population. It certainly isn't 10%, like the left tried to say, or whatever they said. They tried to say 20% of the population is LGBTQ or whatever. No, it isn't. And this is a tragic tale that I wanted to share with people, because it's important that people be reminded that they were right. That good meaning regular people were right. And this is kind of the point. Let's listen to this tale here.
They told you what was going to happen before you started testosterone. So really, it's your fault. You should have been paying more attention. See, but they didn't, though. They told me the outwardly observable effect that I would immediately notice. Like, that my voice was going to drop. Not that my vocal cords were going to dramatically thicken. And that...
Again, when you're 18 and you do this stuff, you could file it under Efron and find out. This is somebody who was 14. The doctors weren't looking out for her. Her parents weren't looking out for her. The far left said they weren't doing this. They weren't lying to kids. They weren't grooming kids to do this kind of stuff. But they absolutely were. And nobody's looking after a 14. Look, if you do this stuff and you're 18, F around and find out. But this is somebody who got told by their doctor, hey, take this stuff. It's no big deal. And their parents went along with it. It's criminal. This kid's parents should be in prison. And the doctor should be too.
A lot of women's larynxes aren't big enough to accommodate that thickness, meaning that my voice just always hurts. I snored last night, apparently, because my throat has hurt all day. It also means that I can't scream or raise my voice above a certain volume. I used to do theater. They knew that. That was something very important to me. And I've lost that ability because I can't project my voice anymore. They told me that I might experience vaginal dryness, not that the cells in my gynecological and urological anatomy are highly estrogen dependent, and that depleting them of that estrogen by going on testosterone is almost certainly going to cause them to irreversibly atrophy, which causes...
Now, again, I know that a lot of people want to be like, well, F around, find out. You took the changes. You took the, you know, but again, remember that the left was telling these kids, there's no long-term effects. You can just put puberty on pause. Remember they kept saying that? There's no irreversible damage. You just put puberty on pause.
There's a slew of issues ranging from, yes, vaginal dryness and pain and bleeding upon penetration, to losing the ability to give vaginal birth, to
So she can't give birth
urinary incontinence and pelvic floor dysfunction. I've seen a lot of informed consent packets from these gender clinics, and I have never seen one actually go into detail about what vaginal dryness entails. It's also crazy to me to imply that I, as a 14-year-old 8th grader, or...
They did this to this girl in 8th grade. I know, again, the inclination, I feel it in myself, is to be like, well, that's what you get. But this kid was in 8th grade when a doctor said you needed to do this, and then her parents said, okay.
Kids that they do this to are as young...
By the way, this existed in a time when the parents could have looked this stuff up on the internet, too. Could have just looked it up on the internet.
Is 11, could comprehend the lifelong...
11 years old when they... Wait, is that what they said? Let me go back.
I, as a 14-year-old 8th grader,
okay, 14.
Or the kids that they do this to are as young as 11, could comprehend the lifelong implications of being incontinent and not being able to have penetrative sex. Or
this is why when a kid eats half a bag of jelly beans and mom and dad say stop eating the jelly beans, and the kids say no and they have a meltdown, you still say no because you know what's good for the kid. We are now in an era where pharmaceutical companies looked at this and said, we know better than the kids. Teachers at schools said they knew better than doctors. They knew better than the kids' parents. And we're telling these kids that they need to transition, right? Not a single teacher got prosecuted for this. Not a single doctor has been prosecuted for this. Not a single parent has been prosecuted for this. But they know better. How about this one? Another kid, Joshua McParland.
Hi everybody, so I am confirming that I have never had this bottom surgery. I never went through with it because God saved me before I went and done that surgery. So that just shows you how amazing God is. I want to give the glory and honor and praise to Jesus Christ.
Amen. Yeah.
Because he saved me from a lot of things that I was about to do to myself. I was about to destroy his creation, and God saved me from that because these people told me that I was going to be a real woman. You cannot change what God created you. Only Jesus can free us from the lies of Satan. So all this gender reconstruction, all this stuff, it's not from God. I know this is going to offend a lot of people, but it's going to also save you from the lies that I was living into. Just pray that this reaches someone in Jesus' mighty name. I'm not here to be harsh, I'm here to be the truth. But yeah, they paid £30,000 for me to go get this surgery. I never went and actually got the surgery. And I'm saying this out of love. So no, I didn't get the bottom surgery done. And I don't think you should either. It's wrong. It says in the Bible, if anyone destroys God's temple, God will also destroy them. Your body is that temple. Your body is a temple of God's beautiful Holy Spirit. So honor God with your body and the body that you were given.
I mean, you can go the religious route, right? At 15 years old. 15 years old. Here's another girl that transitioned at 14.
I hadn't even learned algebra in high school yet. But I was old enough to choose to have healthy parts of my body electively amputated. I was sold a product, medical transition, by professionals and institutions who told me that it would fix my distress and save my life.
The real villains in here are the pharmaceutical companies and the quote-unquote doctors. Remember, do no harm. The doctors that convinced these people, this is what's good for you. You should go in there and cut parts of your body off because, you know, we want to create a lifetime patient, which is exactly what they did. They create somebody who's now going to need different forms of medicine for their entire life. Because some parent wanted to be the cool parent with a trans kid. And you know, you can't excuse the parents. The teachers that passed, you know, pamphlets to these kids. You know, every kid feels a little bit awkward when they start puberty, when they start their teen years. When I was young, they were called the goth kids or the emo kids. Teachers weren't telling these kids to go get double mastectomies. But that's what they have been doing for the past 10 years. All these teachers need to be prosecuted.
I was told that if I didn't do this, I would probably end up dead. But here's what they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me that taking cross-sex hormones and undergoing major surgery at 14 years old could leave me with pelvic floor dysfunction and urinary incontinence, problems I have to manage now as a young adult. I'm only 20 years old.
So he has to wear, I don't know if they're originally, I'm assuming this is a girl, biologically, now has to wear diapers for the rest of their life. You know? Because some teacher or parent or, 4-year degree in psychology told this person, hey, you need to take these hormones. Don't worry about it. You're just putting pregnancy on pause. They didn't save the extra parts. They sold them to Moloch or whatever.
They didn't tell me that these complications are common enough to be known risks. And yet, they were hidden from me at an age where I didn't even understand what these terms meant, let alone the impact they would have on my daily life. And it doesn't stop there. When I tried to warn others by leaving honest reviews on my surgeon's websites, describing my regret, the complications, the lack of real informed consent, my reviews were deleted.
Ooh. Again, seems like a crime to me, right? Seems like we should be arresting these people. But the left, CNN, mainstream media, Hollywood, hashtag protect trans kids. When we said there's no such thing as a trans kid, we were called transphobic and deplatformed by social media. We were taken off YouTube. We were taken off Twitter. We were taken off Instagram. When people tried to fight back against this, they were told, you're the wrong ones. When people said this is the devil at work, they were called kooks. And now there are thousands of people that got these surgeries and live their lives in regret, that live their lives having to wear diapers. It's absolutely heartbreaking. This is the reality that the left pushed and told you were the one that was wrong. And now this is what the outcome has been. A hairline of a 35-year-old man, incontinence, because at 14, their parents didn't protect them. Their doctor didn't protect them. The system didn't protect them. CNN didn't protect them. Hollywood didn't protect them. They ruined their lives. People need to go to prison for this. And I think with that, I need to 2.5 hours on a Sunday stream. I need to bail out, but I will ask one last time, if you support the work that I do and you support, the extra streams and the extra love, please make today the day you go to thequartering.com and click join now, or use my link to join Rumble Premium. We get the same amount of money as a show. If you want to join Rumble Premium, I've been holding off, use my link in the description, or please do consider going to thequartering.com and /join and become a member. It's buy me a beer, $5 a month, buy me one beer a month. It will really go a long way to supporting us, and it would mean the world to me. If you can't or don't want to, I definitely understand, but it really, really does help, and I hope that a bunch of you will consider going up and going to thequartering.com and signing up for Rumble Premium using my link in the description below. We'll see you back tomorrow at 2 Eastern for another stream with Hannah Claire Brimlow. And we'll talk to you again real